When Mom passed, I thought the funeral would be the one place I could grieve without judgment. I was wrong. The church was heavy with silence, flowers lining the altar, and my chest felt like it was splitting open. I broke down halfway through the first hymn, tears running down my face. That's when my dad leaned over, lips curled, and whispered loud enough for the row behind us to hear. God, stop bawling like a child. She wouldn't want you acting weak. I froze. My own father mocking me, while my mom lay in a casket 10 feet away. The sting wasn't just the words, it was the chuckle from a family friend nearby who apparently agreed. My grief turned into something else in that moment, rage. I spent the rest of the service swallowing sobs, replaying years of him belittling me. It wasn't just that day. It was the countless times he dismissed me, gaslit me, or acted like my emotions were shameful. Mom had been the buffer, the only one who made me feel safe. And now she was gone. That night, I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard his voice, weak, pathetic, embarrassing. By dawn, my sadness hardened into something sharper. If he wanted me to man up, fine. I'd do it my way. The next day at the wake, Dad strutted around like the grieving widower of the year. Handshakes, pats on the back, fake tears when people looked. But when no one was watching, his mask slipped. He joked with one of his buddies near the food table. She was a nag, but at least she cooked. I felt my fists clench, so hard my nails cut into my palms. That was the breaking point. I wasn't going to let him walk away with sympathy while painting me as weak. Not after everything. So when it came time for family to share memories, I stood up. My legs were shaking, but my voice was steady. I want to talk about honesty, I said, scanning the room. Because while some people here are pretending, Mom always valued the truth. The room went still. Dad shot me a glare sharp enough to cut glass, but I didn't stop. I told everyone what really went on in our house. How Dad mocked me for crying at her funeral, how he belittled me growing up, how Mom spent nights sleeping in the guest room just to escape his cruelty. You could have heard a pin drop. Then I added the part that made his face drain of color. He always said emotions were weakness. But the only weakness I see is hiding who you really are. Gasps rippled through the pews. My aunt covered her mouth. My cousin stared at Dad with wide eyes. And for once, he had no comeback. After my words, the church was silent, except for Dad shifting uncomfortably in his seat. He cleared his throat like he wanted to argue, but no sound came out. The same man who mocked me for showing grief couldn't even defend himself when the truth was staring him down. When the service ended, people didn't gather around him like they used to. They came to me instead. My aunt whispered, "She'd be proud of you." My cousin squeezed my hand. Even people I barely knew looked at me with something between shock and respect. Dad stormed out before the final prayer, red-faced and muttering under his breath. Later, he sent me a text. "You'll regret humiliating me." I never replied, because for the first time, I didn't feel like a scared kid trying to earn his approval. Walking out of that church, I realized grief had turned into something else. Strength. Mom always told me the truth would set me free. That day, it finally did. And if Dad hated that everyone now knew who he really was, good. That was his burden to carry. Mine ended the second I spoke.